Really great to be here because I've always wanted to do a podcast. So you're kind of like fulfilling my dream of being on a
Yes.
podcast.
Hi, Melody. Good to see you.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you so much for joining us on the Job Ready English podcast. Really excited to go through this with you. And of course, we are, we've got a great relationship, with friends. So I really appreciate having you here and listening to your wisdom.
Really great to be here because I've always wanted to do a podcast. So you're kind of like fulfilling my dream of being on a podcast.
Happy to do that.
Yeah.
So let's jump straight in. So tell us, what are you currently doing? What are you up to?
So right now I'm an international marketing student doing my master's degree. Currently finishing my dissertation, but I've just recently got a new job offer with one of the big four company as their auditor. So I've started to actually move house and really looking into starting my new life, actually. Really exciting time, but a lot of things to do. All going pretty good. So yeah.
Fabulous. All going on. And tell us a little bit about the job that you'll be going on to do this year, and maybe you could give us a little bit more detail about, moving and logistics and what you need to do.
Yeah, so for my new job, it will be an audit graduate trainee program, which is a 3-year program where you could be working part-time, but at the same time, you will also be studying for your ACA qualification, which will include about 15 exams that will be taken over the span of 3 years with 3 levels. And then it will cover topics like accounting, tax, finance, corporate reporting, business development, risk assurance, a lot of those really accounting kind of major, which I've never taken any of those. I came from a background that I studied graphic design for my bachelor degree, and I did international marketing for my master. So it's a very, very big career change, but I found that I am very, very interested in the finance and business sector after my master degree with one of my modules called international trade. And I found that it was so interesting to see how the business side of things works. And I want to be a part of that change. And working for the Big Four is very interesting because you get to be working with different clients. And that's what really drives me. And the fact that I know I'm going to sound like a nerd, but I love studying. I just love studying. I did master because my bachelor was a progression program. It was only 1 year. And I was like, oh, that's it. I want to do more. And then that's why I did master. And then after master, I was like, but I still want to study. And what is the job that gives me that opportunity to study and work? And that is why the graduate program with a really great company as well. Then in terms of moving, I think it's also because of the company support. They are really, really thorough in helping students. They know that we maybe have financial problems, we need more time. So they will give really weeks notice before your start date. They will help you, guide you, have like a dedicated support team for the graduates in terms of student loans or like helping you moving or your visa application. So it's a very, very dedicated team. But at the same time, it also involves a lot of support from your friends, because you have to go house viewing. Where I will be relocating is Reading, which is not so far from where I am right now in Guildford, but it's still kind of a journey, and you kind of have to go around and really like look at houses yourself. But you feel like an adult, doing that. It's like you used to just live in your parents' place and go like, Mommy, I'm back. And then now you just go into different places and go like, oh yeah, so how much is the rent for this one? Oh, could I have the discount? I'm going to be living for a long time. Yeah, it's like I'm going to be working with a good company. So I'll be living with you for a long time. So what's the discount I can get? It's really interesting. And I'm only 21 this year. And it's just, when I think about it, it's so amazing. And I'm so grateful to be able to have this opportunity. But at the same time, deep down inside, I'm still a kid sometimes. So it's really, really interesting in terms of getting a new job, new life, moving out, having your own space. You get to decorate your own space. It's really, really interesting, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. It's the same for me in my 30s. I still got those moments. I'm like, I'm an adult. I'm expected to do adult things, or people will ask questions, I look around and I'll be like, oh, they're asking me. I'm meant to answer. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So let's sort of rewind and sort of take it back to the beginning, and tell us all about what you were like growing up and what brought you on this journey to the UK.
Okay. It's a long story, but I'll try to keep it as simple so everyone can stay on this podcast and not go. So I was born in Taiwan, Taipei, but I grew up in Indonesia because my parents have lived there and they have been working there. So I grew up there and I went to an international school where I have to learn three languages. So I learned Chinese, I learned English, but I also learned Indonesian. So I always grew up in a multilingual kind of space and multicultural. And the fact that my dad is an artist and my mom is a writer, that really influenced me in terms of how I think and also what I like. So I really enjoy art. I really enjoy poetry. I really enjoy just like a good movie, a good musical performance, a good exhibition. That's all that I really enjoy. And that is also kind of part of the reason why I wanted to come to the UK. UK is very known for their art and culture, their history. I've always been interested with the royal family, how they live, and all those traditions. It's just, I think I have a very old soul in terms of that. I'm young, but at the same time, I think very, very, very in an old-fashioned way, kind of. I really believe in those castle, those princes and kings and queens. So that's kind of what really attracted me to UK. And as I grew up, as I start to meet more people who went to the US, who went to UK, and I start asking them about their experience abroad, their studying, and I realized that people do have different personality, and different personality actually directs to where they kind of end up with. For example, my friends who are more open and more spontaneous, they tend to go to US because it's a very liberal, very free, and kind of like all those very hip hop and lively kind of feeling. But people who had went to the UK, they're quite shy, as in a term, in a way that they're quite introverted. They really like to be with themselves. Sometimes they like a good cup of coffee, a good cup of tea, and then they like the moody weather. They love raining, and that's why they went to the UK, which is very interesting. And I was trying to kind of like look into different uni as well and different programs. So for US, obviously you have SAT. You can study SAT and then go to the uni. And then for UK, you do a GCSE, which is IGCSE for international students. And then I went and kind of dig into their modules. And I found that IGCSE is very interesting because you get to have at least 6 different modules that you can pick from. And then you get to pick your levels. For your English, you could pick first, second, or a foreign language. So it's kind of like giving you that flexibility and options. And UK is the only, correct me if I'm wrong, but UK is the only country that provides a 1-year master program. And then just the fact that thinking about I will be graduating with a master within 1 year is something that is frightening, but it also challenges me. And I would love to see how I can achieve that, which I am doing right now. It's a bit tiring at first, but it's all going well. So I would say those kind of aspects in terms of the career prospect and the academic prospect is what really attracts me to the UK. And the fact that UK has a really rich culture and art, and I have teachers from the UK, and I've always enjoyed talking to them. I've always feel that somehow deep down inside, I'm just really, really attracted to be in the UK, although I have friends or families in the US, but I've always wanted to be in the UK. And also another point, which is not exactly about academic, but the location. It was so close to Europe. It's like a travel destination. It's all where you can really see the culture. You can go to different European countries, and it's also close to US. So if you want to travel there, it's also a good location. Not now, right, because of the pandemic, but hopefully in the future you can get to travel and everything. So that's kind of like all the combined reason. And also consulting about what I wanted to do. Always wanted to be in kind of the business, but also a strong art influence industry. And that's where UK is. UK is very, very strong at supporting art. They know that art is a social well-being. They know that creative industry is important. And the fact that UK is the world's heart of financial services, and that really attracts me. And just everything in the UK really attracts me, as well as the afternoon tea. So I always wanted to live in London, going to the museums, going to see London Eye. And when I came here, I was like, oh wow, I love it. When I came here in 2018 for my bachelor degree, which I did a fast track program, so it was only 1 year in the UK. And I came here first time stepping into London with that very, very old tube underground. But I love everything. My mom was complaining about the stairs, and I was like, this is so British. I love it. And everyone was so polite. And people always gave me that stereotypical image that London is gloomy, London people are cold. But when I first came here, everyone was helping me with my luggage. Everyone was like, do you need a help? And every time I visit London, every time with a luggage, I will always be helped by someone, a stranger that I don't know. And they just ask me about the weather. And I'll be like, isn't the weather always bad? But they always talk about the weather. And I love that. I love that connection with people. I love that people on the tube still read books. People still read newspapers. Like, there's nothing like that in where I came from, Indonesia or Taiwan. People look at their phones. They don't even make eye contact, which I love about that in the UK. And after that, graduating with my bachelor degree, I just completely fell in love with this country. And I just don't want to go. And then I did my master. I worked here for a bit in a marketing agency. And then I love the working culture. I called my boss's name. How is that even possible in Asia? That wasn't possible. So yeah, that kind of wraps up all my journey right now until this master degree. So yeah.
Brilliant. Well summarized. Yeah, we do like reading on the tube. It's quite civilized.
I love it. I do that too now. I feel like a Londoner when I do that, it's like grabbing out my book.
But you're absolutely right. Do you know what? I've never thought about it, but when I was traveling, so particularly I did a lot of commuting in Bangkok, and you're right, no one reads. I never thought about it until you said it. I was like, no one reads a book, but I'm so used to, even if you have, like we'd read books or read the newspaper, because we have a free newspaper called the Metro or the Evening Standard.
Exactly.
Everybody, there's always spare copies. You sit there and
sometimes you leave it on the seat and the next people just grab it and read it. Yeah. Love that.
That's definitely,
that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, you're here, you're studying your master's, and you sort of become, resolute. You're like, I love this place. I love what it's all about. It really speaks to me. So tell us about your experience of sort of, first of all, deciding that you wanted to stay here and work, and then what was that experience like, getting going and looking for work in the UK?
It has to go back to when I almost finished my bachelor degree, which is in 2019 summer, and everyone was going back to their Indonesia or Taiwan or whatever, wherever they came from. And then I wanted to stay because my parents were going to visit in summer, where we're going to go on a Europe trip. And then there was like a time slot where it's just months that I'm free because I finished my course and I have nothing to do until my graduation. And I was like, I'll get an internship. And then I start crazy applying for jobs, just really emailing. I think I did about 300 applications in total, including LinkedIn applies, which I got about 20 replies. And 15 of them said they wouldn't offer short-term internship because they are looking for at least 3 months. So it was a no. But some of them were willing to try because they really like my portfolio. They really like my CV and everything. And then I got an interview, which is about 3 interviews. And at the end, I got 2 offers. A long journey. It all sounds very simple and easy when I said it like this, but it spans about 3 or 4 months, probably. Then I started my new job there part-time as the digital designer, junior digital designer in one of the London's marketing agency. And after that job, I finally get to work, right? I always dreamed about working with people in the UK and for a UK company. And then when I started working, and then I was like, oh wow, this is how it feels to work. It's just so collaborative. Everyone is so friendly. When people said that when you grow up you're just gonna face so many challenges, people are gonna like be so evil, people are just gonna like really mess with you, like you have to be careful, you cannot trust anyone. I didn't feel that at all. Like we have lunch together every day. I call my boss by his name. I call everyone by their name. I know their favorite tea. I know how many milk to put there and who wants sugar, who doesn't want sugar. And I know that their habits, like they go jogging before work. Like we talk about their family, we talk about their friends, and we always have like Thursday gatherings. We always have like Friday new movie night out. It was like a family almost. And it was a small company, but everyone was so close. And that's when I first felt that working in the UK was so wonderful. It was even better than I thought it will be. because I've worked in Indonesia part-time. I've also worked in a big company in Taiwan as an internship, and it was all good. People are all very nice and everything. Very fortunate. I didn't meet weird people, but the difference is that in UK, I didn't feel that I was working for them. It was almost like I'm just a part of this team that is trying to strive for something better, and you're just contributing in that goodness. It felt like that to me. So working wasn't working. Working was almost like just like really doing what I wanted to do, doing designs, really creating stuff that I like. But at the same time, because of the work, I realized that, wow, the UK has so much invested in personal development, career development. They really care about what you want to do. First time in the lunch that welcomed me, my boss talked to me, what do you want to do when you graduate? Like, where do you want to see yourself? I said, I'm not very sure where I want to be or what I want to do, but I know I want to be in the UK. And he just laughed. He just laughed. He was just like, oh, why? And I told him what I said just now, all the people, all the culture. And then he was just like, yeah, that's good to know. But if you have any dreams, if you have any goals, share with me. I would love to help you in any way possible, love to support you. Our team is always here. So that's when I realized that it's something that I never felt in kind of an Asian culture. It's that a company will be a company that you have to work for them. It's not a symbiotic relationship that you are valued, like you're personally valued, you are equal, and that everyone is like a flat hierarchy. So it's not that because he is your boss, you have to listen to him all the time. You can have your opinion. You're free to say it, and you are free to really like give your thoughts about the company, no matter how small you think your position is. Like I was just an intern. Like I thought I wouldn't have the opportunity to participate in client meeting. I thought I wouldn't be presenting to clients, but I did all that during my 1-month internship. I delivered a website for a client, and when I realized that I was given that ability to do that, I realized how much they valued me, and that was very important because it drives you to be better, and it drives you to want to help them even more. So I think that's very different in terms of kind of working in different places, and that's what really attracts me more, and that's what led me want to continue to stay in the UK and really work in the UK and actually settle down. And another point is also the people that I meet along the way throughout my kind of journey or like my career. Is all the people are so supportive. They have been so good at carrying you. They just I love how UK people always start their conversation with, how are you? Hope all is well. Like, how's the weather? It's just, it may seem like it's something that is so cliche or everyone does that, but it feels so nice. It's not that I'm just talking to you because I want to get to the point, but they actually want to talk to you first and like getting to know how everything is going on, how's your life. And I think that really carries out throughout not just career, but also in terms of friendship. So it's really, 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 really nice. And I just love that feeling being here. Although the journey was a bit tough, I would say, like finding a job in the UK as an international student, somehow it could get very challenging because you're kind of like the minority, I would say, as a foreigner. But at the same time, because of all the people and all the support that I've met, I feel like they're actually really, really supportive. And I think they appreciate talent. It's like they don't care who you are. They don't care where you come from. You have the talent, you have the ability, and they're just going to value you. And that what really attracts me. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. You said so much stuff, and I think, Britain's not perfect, but we are highly meritocratic.
Very.
And I think it's very much about, and I think you echo a lot of the feelings that I've had from clients and students over the years, particularly in and around London, where you sort of, they'll just sort of say like, it's not that people don't care, it's just that it's not, I've just come from China. Cool, good for you. Like, what do you want to do about that? And no one even bats an eyelid. And I've had it both as work, obviously working with people and employing people. And I can remember getting Asian staff, and we'd sponsor them, and they'd be very like, oh yes, and they'd be very, and I'd be like, why are you being so weird? And they'd be like, because you're my boss. I'd be like, who fucking cares? Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Like, if you don't like something, just say you don't like it. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just some guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
obviously, you know, if I ask you to do something, then you do it, but you know that anyway, or you wouldn't be here. But it's really important to, and I think one thing that you touched on, which is significant, is this. It's so important to encourage openness in the workplace in terms of,
Yes.
like, you know, like, what's going on. You know, when you sort of go, oh, do you like it? And you're like, yeah, it's okay. And it's like, well, what don't you like? I'd be, oh, actually, I don't like this and this and this. And look, by all means, we may disagree, or you may share your experience with
Yeah.
somebody who says, like, oh, why don't we do this? And you say, actually, Melody, we tried to do that and it didn't work, right? And it didn't work because of this and this and this. You're like, oh, cool, thanks. Like,
Yeah.
I totally learned something. But with the, otherwise, having a really closed structure sort of means that I can't, you know, I can only speak
You
for
don't
myself.
you don't encourage ideas.
Exactly, you don't
Yeah.
encourage ideas, you don't get the best out of the other person, and really all they're doing is they're just waiting for the clock to roll around.
Exactly.
But the company that you worked at, I wouldn't say it is the norm. I would
Yeah.
say it sounded like a really good company. They sounded like
Yeah.
some super nice people. But you know, there are plenty of places that are like that, and
Yeah.
you know they're not. So
Yeah, but it actually embeds in the culture, because when I get to talk to my colleagues, what really deep down inside, it's just more than the careers, that what really UK's kind of culture or like living environment really attracts me is like the family concept. They are really, really big on family. It's so strange to see that families will be gathering on like parks to have picnics. Like, that doesn't happen from where I am. Like, we don't go to parks. Like, parks is there for just the green, so when we drive by, there it's there, you know. Like, we don't go to parks, we don't sit on grass to talk or like to just enjoy a day out. We don't do that with families. And what I really see is, like, I remember very, very, very deeply is one day, like, one of my colleagues had to go to see his son's football match, and his son is only in kindergarten. Like, he couldn't barely walk, but he had a football match, and everyone was like, oh, good luck to your son, oh, say hi. And like, everyone was just so supportive. I think it's how they treat kind of like the relationship that they have with their kids. It's very open. They treat their kids as friends, and they want to be there to support them. And I think that's very different. And education as well. I talked to friends who have lived here and who has worked here, who have kids now, and they were talking about how UK's education is so incredible in terms of they care for your kid. Like, the teacher will call you every month to talk about what is happening with your kid. Like, is there something that you should be concerned about? And they realize that your kid really loves this. Maybe you can help him more, like, in developing his skills in this. And they just really care. And I was like, I want my kid to have that. I know I'm thinking very far. I'm only 21, but I'm already thinking about my kids and my family. I was like, I want my kids to live in a place they love your difference. Like, you don't have to have A, B, C, D, right? But you have to have your own mindset. You have to your own opinion, and they value that. And the fact that you go to museums or galleries or parks, it's that social kind of environment that you will be providing yourself, but also, yeah, your future generation. I just think about that. So I want to stay there. I want to stay in the UK. It's for my kids. But yeah.
that's awesome. So
Mm.
let's really just zero in on this year.
Mhm.
It's been, you know, it's been for you know, for obvious reasons with coronavirus. It's been a really challenging year, and you know went on and you got a job. So you know you already shared about how you did so many applications for internship, but almost by, you know, by sheer grit, because you just applied for so many jobs, you had those opportunities, but those were pretty long odds. So now you're coming towards the end of your masters. You're thinking about getting a job. So take us through that process from kind of like decision all the
Mhm.
way through to the result.
Yeah, so it all started with obviously my previous job as the digital designer. And then during the pandemic, we had really, really low client base. We had no projects going on. Everyone was on furlough. And it's just really sad because we couldn't really go to the office. We couldn't talk. We don't have any projects going on. And I was already on a freelance base, like a part-time base, because I'm doing my master. So that doesn't really affect me as much, because I usually just go into the office once a week. But after that, I didn't have to go there anymore. Like, it's been 3 or 4 months that I didn't do anything, and we just catch up on each other. But it was more about personal life, about the pandemic, but it wasn't nothing about work. And my boss had like so many like calls with me and just really talking to me about how the situation is, and he was so sorry for not having clients. And I said, no, don't say sorry, it's the pandemic, you like, it's something out of our control. We never thought that this will happen. So it was quite sad and really like, but it also facilitated my career change, because when I did design, I know I love design and it's my passion, but when I did design, I always feel that it's a bit limited. Like what I could be doing is more than just designing. I could be involved with the business, with the strategies. And once I did my master, I realized that, oh, actually, it's not that I thought I can do it. It's actually I can do it, and I'm good at it, and I'm passionate about it as well. So I was like, I want to do a career change. I want to go into the business. I want to be able to not just design, but help people who design, like really being able to be the force that decide on business decision. And because of business decision, therefore you need design. So I want to be in that kind of decision making, that core of a business. So I really wanted to do the career change. And then because of pandemic, everyone went home. Every one of my friends just kind of like gave up on staying here and just went home. And people thought that I will be like them and really just go back, because everyone just want to be with their family. As the only child, everyone thought I would be going back to be with my parents. But it was a very big conflict, because I love my family. I want to be with them, but then at the same time, I know what I want here. And then I talk to them, and my parents are very supportive. So they're like, just do whatever you want. Just do whatever that you think is best for you. Although they're worried about the safety, but they said it's okay. They trust me, and then just do whatever I want. And I said, yes, I'm going to do whatever I want, which is try to, at least during this period of time before my visa ends, to at least try to achieve as much as I can, whether that's career, whether that's academic or whatever. I wasn't willing to give it up just because of a pandemic, just because there's a virus. Like I said, yeah, it's a virus. Just don't go out. Just stay home. If I do go back to where I am, which is Taiwan, I'll still be staying at home. That's the same. And I said, my room here is much bigger. Why would I want to go back? That's what I said. But yeah, and I think that's kind of the decision. And all of that conflict where people thought that it will make you change your mind, but it actually makes it stronger. It makes what I want really, really solid. I talked to my mom really emotionally. She was like, just go back. Don't worry. You will still have a good career in Taiwan, Indonesia, wherever you are, you're going to be good because you're good. And I said, no, but I want to be here. I know I can be good, but I want to be here. It's like, it makes me happy. It doesn't just make me good, but it makes me happy, and it's where I want to be. And that's why that's kind of the decision process. And then after the decision was made, that's where the challenges and struggles really begin, because all the decision you kind of go with your mind, but once you start applying, it's really the real world. You're being inspected by other people. Your CVs are being read, your interviews, your applications. There's so many rejections. But for this year, my mindset changed, and also the way I approach change. I didn't send 300 applications. I think I just sent about 30 or 20 something. But I was really, really keen on having the highest standard and highest quality of my application, because I realized I should talk to a lot of like a career coach from my uni, and also Mike here as well. Talk to him from Job Ready English, by the way. And then he actually gave me a lot of support, and all people really giving me that valuable advices. It's all different, it's all diverse, but it's all common that you cannot have your CV just one and then send it to everyone, because it's not going to be unique. No one's going to read it. Really, no one's going to read it if you just send one CV to everyone. They might remember you if you send it to them like 500 times, but you're not going to be so unique, because it's just going to be the same CV, and it's not tailored to their company. Because at the end of the day, if you think about it from the company side, they also want to find talented people. They want to find talented people that will work for them, right? So you have to think about it that way. And then you will be able to really look into your CV and see that, okay, this is what I've done, and this might be valuable for them. And then I feel like my personality trait will really works well with the company culture, and really digging into that company. It's not about finding a job. It's about finding a career that you will love, a company that you will love to work with, the people in there that will really value you and you will be happy, It's not just about finding a job to stay in the UK, but for me, that time it was about finding a job that I will love, and I will love to be wake up every day and then with my clock, or like waking up at night and just thinking about them, and I'll be like, I love them, so it's fine. I'll work for them, although it's late, but it's fine. I love it. Like you have to have that, or not, it's just going to be so tiring for your application. Or once you get the job, you will be working, but you just don't like it, and it's going to be really, really tiring. So, and at the same time, it's also about the support. You just have to be open to advices, because throughout the ways, you're going to have so many rejections. Trust me, so many rejections. I've always got first grade in my academic background. I've always got like the top in class. But when I did my application, I was like, maybe I'm not that good. Maybe the first was just because I got lucky, But when you do application, you just start like doubting yourself. So you really need to have a strong, resilient mind, determination, but also be open with help. Like it's okay to not be the best sometimes. There's a lot of competition. Everyone is trying to get a job. Everyone is trying to show their best. So just be able to open yourself up. Like if you're feeling sad or if you're struggling, tell your friends, tell your career coach, talk to them, seek support as much as you can, and talk to people. Don't just hide it, and don't just like cry out your own. You will realize that there's so many people who are willing to help you. I have friends who walked me through my CV for 3 hours. I have Mike who called me, and it was our first time calling, and he already talked for like 3 hours, I think, or 2 hours. And then he just walked me through my CV and everything, and really giving me that support that I need. And because of that support, and you start to adapt it, you start to reflect and change your CV or your interview or your application process. And also at the same time, I know this sounds very cliche, but be yourself. But when I say be yourself, it's not be that lazy self when you watch Netflix and eat popcorn, not that self, but be yourself as in you are that determined, you want something and you're trying to achieve it, you're truthful, you're honest, but at the same time you come prepared. Like if you are being yourself but you're not prepared, you're not really ready for the job interview, you're not ready for the assessment center, it's not going to work out, because you are being yourself, but you don't have those preparation to bring you that confidence to be fully yourself, So you have to come prepared. You have to come with all the things that you need to know about the interview, about the company, about yourself. You have to know yourself very well. So throughout this whole journey of job application, it's actually more about reflection and improvement, and really just becoming a better version of yourself, actually. So I do see that job application is dreadful. It's tiring. It's like finding, especially as an international student, you have to go and check the sponsor list and go like, do they sponsor? Okay, no, damn, okay, sad. Like that journey is really, really tiring, but at the same time, you will really get so many, many valuable lessons, and you will learn so much more, not just about your career, but also about yourself and who you want to be. So that's all that kind of wraps up everything. And I'm really grateful to be able to have my job offer with a visa tier 2 for a company that I really, really love, and then for a job that I've always wanted to try and really interested to really put all my effort and time in, and also be able to study for a qualification. That is very, very rewarding for me. So yeah, I'm excited for the new journey.
Yeah, thanks, Melody. I love your energy, and I guess I'll sort of repeat a few things that you said, which I think are quite relevant. Definitely quality over quantity. Definitely being tailored to just being generalistic. I think, I spoke to a young Russian guy today, and he said, I've done like 100 job applications. And my response to that normally is like, well, clearly what you're doing isn't working. And it's not to be horrible, because it can be really easy to just kind of, you sort of get that one-track mind. You're like, but I am good enough. But, oh, no, I've got another rejection, another one. And the thing is, as well, is if you can tweak and experiment with those variables, because if you only ever use one CV, then you don't know whether it's good enough or not. I mean, surely it makes more sense to use one and then use a different one, and so on and so forth. And the other thing that you said is there are tons of people who are willing to help. I mean, a lot of, there are great career services out there. There are great people. LinkedIn is a fantastic resource. I mean, I cannot count the amount of times, and I've really just reached out to people who I thought were really busy, or because I wanted some form of mentorship or coaching myself. And they're like, Yeah, totally. Let's have a coffee. Let's sit down. And I've gotten some really fantastic value because I think deep down in people who are successful or who are invested in other people's success, there is that ability, that wanting just to nurture people, just to kind of give it, because it's all about. It's never about one person. It's I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger who said this, and he would say, you know, when people say that they're a self-made man, I never understand because of course I'm not self-made. I am the product of many, many hundreds, if not thousands, of people who've just every so often just given me a nudge, just said to me like, "You're good enough, you can do it," or who haven't, you know, even the detractors, the people
who tells you that you're not good enough.
Exactly, because you just say, "Oh, well, I'll show you," you know. And the best, I was speaking to somebody about this last night who was having some difficulties, and I said, look, the best revenge is enormous success. You know, really, you don't need to say anything else. You're just like...
And at the end, if you're having your success, you'll realize that I don't need to revenge anyone because I'm so happy with myself. I don't really care anymore.
And you spoke about that resilience, which is so important because it's not personal, you know, and it's never about, you know, all of you, you know, you as well as many, many international students and professionals are the totally type A players. You know, you are the biggest fish in the pond. You are, you know, the smartest kid in the village or town or city or even country. And you kind of come here and you get some rejections and you think, am I not good enough? And it's like, of course you're good enough. But what you have to remember is it's a different game, different rules and different language. So you just need to go away and learn the system, learn the frameworks to then approach that game because because you've seen other people do it. The game is totally winnable. It's not easy, but it is winnable. It's not impossible.
Yeah. And I do find that it's only impossible when you let it be impossible, you know? It's always, I love this quote saying that you don't work hard because you see hope. It's when you work hard, then you see hope. Because like you work hard, so you know that, oh, there's a light there. It's not because you see a light and you go like, oh, I'm going to work hard. Because then it will be something that's so easy. Everyone can do that. Everyone can see a light, know that there will be diamond and they dig. But can you be the one who digs without knowing that there's going to be diamond and still have that resilience all the way down? And yes, you can, because if you ask yourself, is that something you want? You'll be like, yes. So when you look back and you're like, even though it may not always promise you success, it may not always promise you there will be diamond, but at least you tried, you know, and you didn't give up on yourself.
Awesome. So, I mean, how can we make finding jobs in the UK easier? What are the things that you'd love to see made easier or streamlined for other students following you?
Yeah, I think first and foremost is obviously the sponsorship. It's very, very important for international students. In terms of tier 2, there's a lot of misconception that tier 2 has to be job that no other UK people can do it, but that's not how it works actually. When you switch from tier 4 to tier 2, you will actually not have to meet that qualification. So you can just have to meet those standard qualification with your English, with the salary. It has to be about, I forgot, but maybe 25K or something, or 20K, I think actually, 20K. And then with your English proficiency. So it's actually not, if companies do come and tell you that, oh, we cannot sponsor because we have other UK people who can do this job, but you can show them that, oh, but actually in tier 4, you get to switch, because it's not that all company who has sponsorship know much, or they just don't have that experience. But if you can show that you know how it works, and then you are a talented person, you really want to work with them, I believe that most of them will listen to you and maybe even give you that opportunity to work with them and sponsor you. So I do want to see more of that being streamlined, like in terms of tier 2 job sponsorship per categories, tailored to different sectors, tailored to different career and positions, whether that's more experience level or whether that's graduate levels, and really helping students to identify what company can provide sponsorship and what can or maybe can, and what companies they just are not on the sponsorship list. So I really find it interesting. There's a lot of kind of tools for tier 2 job application on websites, but also being able to see more improvement on that in terms of maybe searching for key roles or direct kind of job board in relation to the tier 2 sponsorship will be really nice. At the same time, second point, I would say that it's about the interview and application process, because everyone will think that interview is so hard, assessment center is so hard, but before that, don't forget there's an application where you have to be able to be seen or be accepted in the application. Then you will have to go to interview. So actually application is still very, very important in terms of how to be seen, because there's so many different kind of application recruitment process. Some people use a more computer-based application process where they screen your CV for keywords down the funnel. So if you don't have those keywords, no matter how good you are, your CV will not be seen by a human. So that's kind of like the different aspects of different recruitment process. So I think it will be interesting if we could see some guidance on the different recruitment process, maybe not so much in details, but at least the different types. Maybe they are the ones that are more HR focused. So they're actually HR admins who will go through each and every CV. And then just because for international student, it's a place that you're not so familiar with. And we are all so purely invested in academic university group, so we're not so exposed about the workplace, except if you are maybe like a bachelor degree student, undergrad, who have like a placement year, who can work in the UK. But other than that, it's really kind of like we don't have much information about that. So also having that platform or that space to have that open conversation about our questions, and then have someone to answer us truthfully and then really clearly and honestly, but also objectively and supportively. And at the same time, it's also having more support in terms of international students and maybe local students, like really exchanging that ideas, like maybe our cultural differences is what really makes the different kind of opinions really diverse and really creative and collaborative. So I think that will be also very interesting to see that. And really just don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. So maybe we can have some workshops or events on that, really helping students, especially international students, to boost their confidence in terms of their English, or like in terms of culture shock, really overcoming the challenges that as a foreigner who lives outside and away from their parents, their family, their comfort zone, anything that they could be facing. It's really, I think I see the improvements is that really more being collaborative, supportive, and having that access for international students, because sometimes we may feel really excluded because we are international kids and we need visa, and the fact that we have to pay so much more for the tuition fee is already one of the exclusive reason. But yeah, I think it's really empowering international students and really letting them to have a chance to be seen by and to be valued at, and yeah, really prospect, like really, really blossom into what they want to achieve. And so that once we have that all established people who think that they couldn't do it, they can actually do it, and they have the chance to do it, and they have all the support that they need. So yeah, I think that's where I will be looking forward to see more, and what I will love to be part of, to see more people being engaged and more people being helped and really just achieve what they want. And they don't just go back and go like, oh yeah, I wanted to stay, but I didn't have the support. I hope that in the future, more people can stay and more people can be seen and valued and feel the same joy as I am feeling right now. So yeah.
Awesome. And what advice would you give to students who are watching this if they're sort of, thinking about looking for jobs? Is there like a framework or a series of steps? What would you tell them?
I'll start with a framework and then I'll start with my own advice. So I think for a framework, it's very different from everyone, obviously. Everyone have different approach, but for me personally, what worked was that first, of course, is the decision. So you can decide staying here, what kind of career, but also don't just decide on one. Maybe give yourself more options, be flexible. Because in life, I know we always dream about that dream job, but sometime in life, you have to be very flexible. It's good because you have more opportunities and you will realize that, oh, I can actually do that. Oh, I actually love that. It's being flexible, being open. But at the same time, you can also be on track about what you want. So having that options there and having that goals, and you can then tailor your CV with that. You start searching for jobs in relation to a different kind of option you set for yourself, really looking at different companies that categorize in those decisions, and that's where the research kind of goes. And that research has to be ongoing all the time, maybe before you sleep, every weekend, every day, just set a time for it and just like stop watching Netflix. I know it's good, but stop watching Netflix sometimes, and you can use that time to start searching, it's for your career. Remember, you can watch Netflix when you start working and getting paid. So just say that's what I did. Yeah, that's what motivated me. I said I can watch Netflix once I get a job. But yeah, it worked out really well. So really like do time management as well. So it's about that planning and ideas and really organizing your ideas. And you can always seek help on all these. Like if you feel unsure, career support, career coach, your friend or your family, whoever that you find comfortable with. And then within that, you also start to plan out, maybe create, I would say, suggest a job application tracker, which I just created myself with my favorite software called Notion. But you can also create it with Excel or whatever that has like a due date and your target apply, your CV attached, your resume, your application process, to have a visualization of your plan in mind, and then really see what company is recruiting, really putting that research and organizing them into points, really like giving like top 3 unique points about this company, why I want to work them. And I think it's also very important to be reflective in terms of all the process. Once you set the tracking, once you fill out all the components about the company, the job, you also have to be very reflective about why I want to work here and what kind of experience that they will value, and really looking into those keywords, like those job application, and be very good at paraphrasing. When they said good communication skills, everyone is going to say that they want good communication skills. If you cannot talk, you have to try and learn. Okay. But yeah, they will always ask for good communication skills, but also paraphrasing. Like you don't go like, I have good communication skills, because that will just mean that you don't really know how to articulate your words, because you're copying exactly the same. So you could say that I have collaborated with others in group projects, just really paraphrasing. Or like I have given a speech on this matter, or I've written a report. So you can show that you are not just verbally communicative, but you're also like writtenly communicative. So I think it's also being creative in terms of your CV. You can tailor it differently, adds a bit of yourself, adds a bit of your style to your CV, but also not going too much. And having people to read it is what the next step is. So you're reflective yourself, but your opinions can be really limited. And when you're looking through all your CV, it will be overwhelming. So have someone else, someone you trust, someone from your uni to really help you see it and really have opinions. And don't be afraid of criticism. Just be open and remember that every bad thing that they said about you is just another good bricks for you to build up that steps to go up and go be better. So see that as a good kind of nurturing fertilizer, so you can really grow as a plant, as a tree, and take those opinions and digest it. What they say, is it true? And what can I do to change it? Ask their opinions and then show it to them again. And if they said it's still not good, then you can try other ways. If they said it's good, then you can try it out. And for your application, just remember quality over quantity. So all of that kind of shows the process, and that will involve every step of the way in interview, application, assessment center. All has to have research, reflection, also opinions, preparation. The only way that you can, like I said, be yourself is when you come prepared, when you're confident, because you are prepared. You know what you want to say. You know yourself very well. You know the company very well. So you talk like yourself because you're being so confident. You're not remembering. You're not trying to think. You're just naturally being yourself because you're so confident. You're prepared and you're not worried. And that confidence will affect the people who are listening to you. They will love it. They will be like, oh, this person really works hard to know our company, and they come prepared and they really see the effort. And being yourself is also being really honest as well, like what you want and what you like. And I think that's kind of not a structure step. Everyone has it differently, but I would say the most important kind of components. And once again, don't be afraid to ask for help, because there's so many resources, so many support you can get. So you're not alone on the journey. You have friends who are finding a job as well. You have people who have found a job. You have those people, career coaches, who are there to help you find a job. Don't be afraid to seek help. And last but not least is that, as I said, don't stop. So nothing is impossible until you try it. So just don't stop. Like wherever you are or you haven't started, it's okay. If you have that idea, think about it, ask yourself, is that what you want? If it's the answer is yes, or even the answer is unsure, you can still try it, and then you will find out, oh, this is what I want, or oh, maybe this isn't really what I want. Then it's okay, but I think it will be really, really rewarding to look back, is that what will really touch you is not the fact that I have achieved it, but actually I started it. Like I will be like, oh, I didn't just stop there, just stop at the stage of thinking about it, but I actually tried doing it and I done it. And that will be so, so, so nice when you think about it back. It's like when you want to go to a place, you didn't just dream about it, but you actually went there, you went on a plane, you catch the train, and then you went there and see it. It's that feeling that will really help. And yeah, so that's all that I could say. And good luck. Believe in you guys. Believe in yourself. You're on mute.
Thanks, Melody. That was super helpful. Just finally, are there any books, websites, or other resources that you would recommend for people who want to find jobs and they're just not sure where to start?
I would say for books, not as much, because maybe I find my resources more online. So it'll be like booklets. There's a lot of maybe career support websites. There's one I know for consulting jobs, and then I know one for particularly for Big Four companies. There's a podcast, and also their website is called the Big Four Accounting Firm. So if you're into going into Big Four, that is very, very helpful. And all of the companies actually have their own podcasts. Most of them, for the Big Four especially, they have their own podcast talking about their current like issues going on or society. And I do follow a lot of not motivational speaker, but just role model that I find really inspiring. Like I follow Barack Obama or Bill Gates, that what they talk, it might not relate to job search, but it will give you that commercial awareness and values that you can talk about during your interviews. And then at the same time, there's also a lot of career support team. Job Ready English is one. I've read their cover letter cheat sheet, their interview guide, and that helped me a lot, because there's a lot more tailored about job application, and it's very clear. But there's also a lot in uni. I believe like most uni will have like a career and employability. You can ask them, and they will partner with kind of career coach or like career support. Or like I know I used to work for the student ambassador in Bright Network, so that's also a very good space to have events, commercial awareness podcasts, have resources, and also have some, about all the tips and things you should know about working in the UK. So those supportive websites, and actually all books that you find interesting that will give you some insights or that will make you reflect about yourself is also very good. So yeah.
That's brilliant, Melody. Thank you so much. Good luck with your new job, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Mike. It was a pleasure. So yeah, good luck, everyone.
If you like this video, click like, drop us a comment, and make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified whenever we release videos.